In April, Elon Musk held a large conference on the program of travel to Mars. He said that it is necessary to accelerate the program for the production of ships that will transport people to Mars. After all, exploration and adventure are the foundation of human existence. We cannot stand in one place, places where we have never been from the very beginning. Primitive migrations across continents to sailing ships and airplanes to rockets. We are constantly in search of something new, and in the future, a great journey is still waiting for us. NASA currently has a plan for how they're going to land the first humans on the surface of Mars and then bring them safely home to tell the story, and that's how they're going to do it. This is a space race. The first step in the process of reaching Mars is an important step into the future that we have to take. According to Musk, civilizations like ours supposedly already existed in space. But due to global wars, the depletion of the planet or other reasons, these creatures destroyed themselves after reaching a certain level of development. Therefore, the task of mankind is to avoid such a scenario by creating its own copy on another planet. SpaceX's current goal is to develop technologies that will make this scenario possible. The entrepreneur believes that Mars is quite suitable for founding a colony. For this, at least 1 million people need to be sent there. According to preliminary calculations, the project can be implemented in 20 years. Starship 3, a SpaceX spacecraft, will help humanity in this. The company wants to make sure that the cost of flying a reusable Starship spacecraft carrying 200 tons of cargo into space is reduced to $2.3 million, $10.15 per kilogram. This will allow 10,000 Starship flights in the foreseeable future. That's how many it takes to deliver 1 million people to Mars. In addition to the ships themselves, you will need a system for refueling them in space so that during the flight, Starship can replenish its fuel supply. According to preliminary estimates, from 5 to 6 such gas stations should be placed between Earth and Mars. It also became known that at first, the company would not return the ships back. The colonists would disassemble them to build a base. Musk said that the intermediate stage before the implementation of plans for the colonization of Mars will be the construction of the moon base Alpha Lunar Base. At the same time, the moon itself is not suitable for life. It is a bare stone, without an atmosphere and with strong temperature fluctuations. A successful flight to Mars will revolutionize the space industry and, in theory, will help solve the problem of overpopulation on Earth. The exploration of the red planet will give an impetus to the development of science, will allow us to discover new elements, materials, minerals, and significantly expand the human habitat. If we assume that it is Musk's company that will be at the forefront of colonization, then now the partial resettlement of people is hampered by technical problems and bureaucratic difficulties. To achieve these goals, SpaceX is constantly conducting flight tests and upgrading Starship and Falcon 9. Musk said that it is necessary to increase the production of spacecraft that can transport people to Mars. But realizing this vision will require not only technological innovation, but also international cooperation. Colonization of Mars is a grand undertaking that will require the joint efforts of governments, private companies, and individuals from all over the world. If the universe is about 13.8 billion years old, and the Earth is about 4.5 billion years old, then a conscious civilization on our planet, if we count from the beginning of writing, is no more than 4.5 thousand years old. It turns out that Starship is the first project in 4.5 thousand years that gives humanity a chance to try to diversify itself and become a multi-planetary species. Previously, this opportunity was not technologically possible, but now, with SpaceX and Starship technologies, the chances are starting to appear. Currently, more than 6,000 Starlink satellites are in orbit, with 10,000 space laser communication systems transmitting 42 petabytes of data per day. Now Starlink has 2.7 million customers, and new users are appearing at a rate of 4,000 per day. The total dominance of the Falcon 9 and millions of customers provide the company's revenue and finance the development of Starship. Some of the Falcon 9 and Starlink technologies have been transferred to Starship. Musk said that the intermediate stage, before the implementation of plans for the colonization of Mars, will be the construction of the Moon Base Alpha Lunar Base. At the same time, the Moon itself is not suitable for life. It is a bare stone, without an atmosphere and with strong temperature fluctuations. We need to create an expanded and permanent presence on the Moon, as it will be much easier to fly from the Moon to Mars than going from Earth to Mars. The Moon is not a suitable option for human life, but if you try hard and figure it out, it can become an ideal cosmodrome, a gateway to the solar system. The system, and this is a long-term goal. The NASA Artemis program is not just a return to the Moon to put up the flag again. This time, the Artemis missions from 4 to 10 continue to strive to learn how to live on the Moon, learn how to use natural resources, search for their own water and oxygen, using rocks and metals already present on the Moon, to begin building a new infrastructure. And at the same time, NASA and their partners will be creating a lunar gateway space by placing an outpost in deep space on the new frontier, where NASA establishes its human presence. NASA's Artemis program lays the foundation for human flights to Mars, ensuring a sustainable presence on the Moon. This lunar outpost will serve as a testing ground for the technologies and techniques that will be. SpaceX's current goal is to create the latest technologies necessary to make life multiplanetary. On the Moon and in the near lunar space in space, they will simultaneously expand their robotic presence on Mars. This undoubtedly means new rovers, but the most exciting prospect for the next 10 years is the large-scale deployment of aircraft on Mars with widely used successful first test of intelligence over the past year. We have already confirmed that we can fly on rockets to Mars. This opens up a whole new potential for exploration and sample collection on the Red Planet. NASA even has a plan to create an autonomous space station for Mars orbit. It will act as an intermediate base between Earth and Mars. The Martian cargo stage 1-inch, launched into lunar orbit by Artemis 11, is the same flight to the surface of the Moon, and the launch of the second stage of a Martian cargo ship. The pre-packaged cargo will arrive on a 25-ton Martian lander, which will contain fuel for the return ascent, which will also contain a power source for the crew and various equipment necessary for life. There will also be a vehicle for lifting before deploying to the surface of Mars. The crew will consist of 4 people. The gateway in orbit around will serve as the starting point from which astronauts will travel to Mars. On Mars, they will transfer to a rover that will be their home. They will live in it and conduct scientific research. They must have very reliable spacesuits, as there will be trips to Mars for a more detailed study of the planet. The problems associated with the colonization of Mars are huge, but that doesn't stop Musk and SpaceX. They see Mars not only as a potential haven for humanity, but also as a new frontier for research and discovery. The Red Planet offers many scientific and technological opportunities, from studying its geology and climate to uncovering the secrets of its ancient past. To create a self-sustaining civilization on Mars, it is necessary to deliver several million tons of cargo from Earth, as well as eventually relocate about 1 million people. To do this, you will need to perform 10,000 flights on Starship. Musk believes that this is a difficult and fantastic project, but technically possible, since the laws of physics are not violated here. In general, Elon Musk wants to master this program faster in order to have a backup option for life in the universe. If suddenly a man-made disaster occurs on Earth, the salvation of the people will consist in resettlement to Mars. All the forces of SpaceX are now focused on this. NASA's Artemis program lays the foundation for human flights to Mars, ensuring a sustainable presence on the Moon. This lunar outpost will serve as a testing ground for the technologies and techniques that will be. Despite these difficulties, the prospect of colonization of Mars has huge prospects. This opens a new chapter in human research, gives us a chance to expand our horizons and push the boundaries of what is possible. Working together, we will be able to make the dream of life on Mars a reality and ensure the future of humanity among the stars. Hopefully, in the near future, we will have a spare planet for life in the form of the planet Mars, and nothing will threaten us. Subscribe to the channel and like it if you liked the video. There are many more videos on the channel about the conquest of space and the universe.